I'm Jason Epperson. This is RV Miles, and it's time for this week's RV and camping news. We begin this week with the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, who's suing a Pahrump, Nevada RV park for housing discrimination based on a complaint from a family with 3 young children. The Fair Housing Act prohibits discrimination against families with children under the age of 18, and that's why you don't see too many adult-only RV resorts out there, except those that are 55-plus resorts, which are allowed under the law, or those that don't have long-term monthly stays. But the situation at Preferred RV Resort, according to the assertions of the lawsuit, is very similar to what you might find at any RV resort across the country. Listed in HUD's complaints are signs like no children under 14 in the spa, the hot tub, and no children under 14 allowed on exercise equipment. Between 14 and 18 must be accompanied by an adult. Apparently, it's not just about denying rental to families with children. They also must have access to the amenities that are offered to anyone. You can require adult supervision for children under a certain age for a pool or a spa, but not deny access altogether. The park also has a wood shop with saws and other power tools, and a stained glass shop that children are not allowed to use. Of course, it doesn't sound like this couple complained to HUD over unsupervised access to a hot tub. It appears as though the family felt there was an anti-children atmosphere during their 3-month stay at the park, having received letters addressed to all parents in the park about supervising their children at all times, or at least reserving the right to require adult supervision of children who become an issue, which also is apparently not legal for legal dwellings to require adult supervision at all times for no specific reason, like a safety reason in a pool. Now, this is an RV park with monthly rates and many long-term residents. It's actually a lot of resident owners. It's never been totally clear to me, nor do I know of cases where it's been tested, if parks that don't allow monthly stays or long-term stays fall under the jurisdiction of the Fair Housing Act. But I think the general belief is that they don't. Now, I have 3 kids, and we've traveled the country full-time for 7 years and encountered every type of park atmosphere imaginable. We've been places where kids were certainly frowned upon, and we felt uncomfortable by the atmosphere and attitudes toward them. We've been in parks where families let more difficult kids run free, who steal from the store and break playground equipment and flood bathrooms for fun. That's been very rare, but it's happened. I see lots of people complain about screaming kids ruining their camping trips, and I have to say that in my experience, it's far more likely that an adult is going to ruin my stay, and I love the sound of kids playing and riding bikes and generally being outdoors and off their electronic devices. I'm the guy who purposefully walks past the store that has a well-behaved children allowed sign. I think kids are far too looked down upon in our society, but this lawsuit is so wild in its specificity towards amenities, and it really gets down to the safety of children and overall the stuff that any housing complex can provide. I'm curious to know what your thoughts are down in the comments on this lawsuit. I'll put a link to the full text in the description below so that you can read it. More in a moment, but first, this video is sponsored by Blue Ox. Chances are you've seen them on the road. That's because Blue Ox has been designing and manufacturing some of the best towing products in the industry. Blue Ox is everywhere. Highways, campgrounds, anywhere you find people traveling in the great outdoors. You probably know Blue Ox produces award-winning tow bars and base plates. They're the go-to brand for anyone that wants to tow a car behind their motorhome. But did you also know they have a full line of premium weight distribution hitches and a new lineup of fifth wheel hitches? With Blue Ox, towing doesn't have to be a drag. To learn more about how Blue Ox can make your travel adventures even more stress-free, visit blueox.com. A link's in the description. Thanks to Blue Ox for supporting our channel and to you for supporting our sponsors. Ford has unveiled the all-new 2024 F-150 with some new tech features that might be handy, but nothing earth-shatteringly different. The towing capacity and payload remain the same, and the engine lineup is largely similar, though the 3.3-liter V6 is going away. You'll still be able to choose between 3 gas engine options, but Ford expects the hybrid model to be more popular next year. Currently, it accounts for about 10% of F-150 sales. The hybrid powertrain will now cost the same as the 3.5-liter EcoBoost gas model. In the cab, Ford will offer a heads-up display in the F-150 for the first time, and a new theft tracking feature that will notify owners if someone obtains unauthorized access to the vehicle and tracks it for the police. The hands-free Blue Cruise feature is being upgraded to execute lane changes automatically when the driver activates the turn signal. The lane centering has been updated to move you a little left or right within the lane to give you more room when you're alongside a big vehicle like a semi-truck. When you park, there's a new exit warning that alerts you to approaching vehicles, pedestrians, and cyclists when you're about to step out of the truck. Probably the biggest differences can be found in the bed, where the new Pro Access tailgate can be optioned, specifically designed for easier access when towing. There's also a new standard 1-gallon storage box in the bed's sidewall, perfect for ratchet straps and wheel chocks. Ford is simplifying ordering options. This is really the big thing for me, dramatically, and it means some things that are great for towing are becoming standard across the line, including the extended range fuel tank and Class 4 trailer hitch. I hate how these car companies put options in different trim levels, so if you want a specific option, you might have to bump up to a higher trim level. It's good to see Ford reducing that a bit. The announcement comes at a precarious moment for Ford, though, just a few days after the UAW decided to initiate a strike against all three big Detroit automakers, Ford, GM, and Stellantis. Workers are seeking across-the-board wage increases of 36% over 4 years. The companies countered by offering increases ranging from 17.5% to 20%. If the contract negotiations drag on and the strikes expand to affect more plants, auto dealers could run short of vehicles again, raising prices. Automakers say that wage hikes will raise prices anyway, but the UAW says labor accounts for only 4 to 5% of the total vehicle cost, and automakers have been raking in record profits in recent years. In addition to wage increases, union negotiators are also seeking restoration of cost of living raises, an end to varying tiers of wages for factory jobs, a 32-hour work week with 40 hours of pay, and the restoration of traditional defined benefit pensions. In 2007, the UAW gave up cost of living raises and benefit pensions for new hires and created wage tiers to help manufacturers avoid the financial trouble that was looming ahead of and during the Great Recession. The current demands are an effort to win back some of those concessions. The union isn't striking at the company's most profitable plants, which are full-size pickup trucks and SUVs, but that could change by Friday if talks don't improve. We reported on a bill in California several months ago aimed at fixing the no-show problem in California's nearly 280 state park campgrounds and 15,000 campsites, the most in the U.S. We've all seen it across the country. You book one of the last campsites available, only to find the park a third empty when you arrive because people don't cancel or they book days they don't need. AB 618 has now passed the legislature and is on the governor's desk for signature. The bill proposes several significant changes. For starters, a lottery system will be implemented for some of the state's most coveted campgrounds, ensuring a fairer distribution of those prime spots instead of everybody trying to get them at 8 a.m. the day they are released. Campers who cancel their reservations at least 7 days in advance will be incentivized with a credit that remains valid for 5 years. On the flip side, no-shows will forfeit their bookings after the first day. That sounds like a no-brainer, but you'd be surprised how many state park systems just let the site sit empty. The bill introduces a cap on the number of days one can stay at the same campground annually to 30 and limits peak season reservations to 7 days at popular parks. But it's not just about penalties and restrictions. The bill mandates a 25% discount on campsite bookings for low-income individuals holding the state's annual Golden Bear Pass. The bill will also increase the number of email reminders people get about their upcoming stay, reminding them that canceling is in the best interest of everyone if they don't plan to show up. If signed into law, the provisions will come into effect on January 1st. The new iPhone 15 has been unveiled, and ever since the 14, emergency SOS via satellite has been a comfort and savior to many folks traveling remote areas without cell service. Now, one of the nation's largest roadside assistance providers is getting in the game. AAA subscribers can now get access to roadside assistance via satellite if they own an iPhone 14 or the new 15 models, even if there's no cell tower nearby. iPhone users requesting roadside assistance can be connected via satellite with AAA after answering a few questions to capture important details. Users will receive clear guidance on how to stay connected to a satellite so they can message via text with a AAA agent and get important information about the status of their request. Now, we're not big fans of AAA's RV plans for several reasons. I've outlined them in a video I'll link to in the description. But this service will be available to all iPhone 15 and 14 users in the U.S., regardless of whether they're a AAA member or not. Non-members will just have to pay the tow truck driver for the full rate. For some people who travel remotely quite a bit, it might be worth carrying AAA on top of their current roadside assistance. Finally, for all you 14-year-olds that snicker at the name of the gas station chain Kum Go, I'm sorry to say that you're about to see fewer of them out there. 130 so existing Kum Go stores will be rebranded in Idaho, Utah, Colorado, and Wyoming after the brand was purchased by the Maverick fuel station chain. In all states where Maverick has stores, Kum Go's will be rebranded as Mavericks, but for now, the other 9 states where the chain operates won't see a change. The Kum Go name was adopted in 1975 to unify an array of stores under a single brand. It was a play on the phrase Kum and Go, using the initials of founders Kraus and Gentle. That's it for this week's RV and Camping News Roundup. Hit the like button if you got something out of this video, subscribe if you want more like this, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye, everybody.